For most people, fall means football, but there are more sports to watch and enjoy than just the clash on the gridiron. Tonight, we step into the gym and let the girls have their turn. That's right, it's time for volleyball action on AM 800 KBRV The Bear and online at mylocalradio.com. Whether you're a fan of Grace and the Lady Grizz, the Purple Cowgirls of North Gym, or the high-flying Cardinals of Soda Springs, this is your home for all of the local action between the net cords. Every dig, every set, and every kill can be heard and seen right here. High school sports are brought to you on 800 KBRV by
Sanders Furniture, Reed's Plumbing and Heating, Silver Star Communications, Monsanto, and Old West Media.
Now, let's head to the court with the voice of Caribou County Sports, Caleb Burgraff.
And welcome everybody out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. It is back to the home court for Soda Springs tonight as they look to try and get back onto the winning track, taking on the Malad Dragons after the Soda Springs Cardinals were dropped in 5 sets by the Aberdeen Tigers last night in Aberdeen. It is going to be a tough match for the Cardinals. They were swept by the same Lady Dragons team earlier this season. We have plenty to come for you on the pregame show, including interviews with both of the head coaches, including Cammie Tripp from the Malad Lady Dragons and Coach Shawnee Thompson of the Soda Springs Cardinals. That's all on the way, as well as a look at what each team is going to be needing to do in order to have a win in this contest in order to keep their momentum moving forward in the case of the Malad Dragons. All coming your way on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
They need your help. They're overstocked with Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They'll wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliance. If you will help them make room in their showroom, they'll help you keep money in your bank account while you're enjoying high-quality, comfortable Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They need your help, and you need to save money. Wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliances on Main Street in Soda Springs.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
The rocket launched into the air.
And then crashed into the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Here's a look at your Lalaton's food specials for the week of October 1st through the 7th. Catch K-Slot Fever. Grab select varieties of canned vegetables, 24 in a case for $12. Canned tuna fish, 48 cans for $28.32, or a case of 12 cans of premium chunk white chicken for just $11.89. Pasta sauces come in cases of 12 for $12, 20 for $20, or 24 for $24. That's a look at your Lalaton's food specials in Soda Springs.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals on KBRV 800 The Bear. Caleb Burgraff here, and welcoming everybody watching on mylocalradio.com. If you haven't checked out our video stream yet, I encourage you to get online and do so. It is a great key, and it's a great piece that you guys can follow Soda Springs on all throughout the season as we cover every single Soda Springs Cardinals match throughout the year, including this one against the Malad Lady Dragons, the second time the Cardinals took on the Malad Lady Dragons. Last time it wasn't very pretty. That's the easy way to say things. The Cardinals came out in a very flat style and really had no answer for the Malad Dragons, including Hannah Peterson, who ended up with 14 kills. Tabor Paskin, another real good one to watch, who had 8 kills in that match as well. And Peyton Tripp, a very good setter for this Dragons team. We were able to sit down with the head coach of the Malad Lady Dragons in Cammie Tripp and talk about what her team has been able to do so far this season. And it's really impressed her in many ways as well.
Caleb Burgraff joined on the pregame show with Cammie Tripp, the head coach of the Malad Lady Dragons. And Coach, the last time you guys took on Soda Springs, it was a 3-set sweep for you guys. And really, you hate to use the word dominance when it comes against the team I call for, but really a dominant performance by your team. Is that what you've come to expect from the girls?
You know, when we played Soda, we really were having we had a great night that night. I would say for probably the first time through the course of the season up to that point, it was our most complete match where we played from first serve to last point. So it was an exciting game to watch from my perspective because it really did come together that night. And so since that night, we've been working on building and becoming more just predictable. So yes, I guess predictable for me, that I can sit back as a coach and watch my team do what they do because it's just disciplined play. So yeah, I'm hopeful that tonight will be just a continuation of that building.
When we look at your team, you and I were just talking, the girls as just their build and bodies, you've really been blessed, is the way the word you used, and I would agree, that this is a team that it's almost a perfect volleyball team when it comes to the build of the girls. Does that help a lot when it comes to your coaching and making it a bit easier on you?
Oh, absolutely. It's not, I've coached at MALAD for 20 years, and this is definitely what you call just the perfect team as far as height. For a 2A school, you don't have 4 girls who are taller than 5'11" on your team as a 2A team very often, and to have that come, you just have to appreciate it and relish the moment and hope that it lasts forever, knowing that it won't. But yeah, we're definitely enjoying the opportunity to coach amazing athletes.
One of the other things I noticed about your team is your setter, even when she has a bad pass to her ability to adjust on the fly with her passes and still get it almost on the money every time. What does that do for a team, and what have you done to help build that ability along for her?
You know, that is she's our understated weapon, because just what you said, we can have a bad pass and she cleans up everything on the court. So whether a pass is on point or not, the result is still the same. We get a ball set that a hitter can put away, and there's nothing that can be said that can overstate the importance of that in a successful volleyball team. As far as what I've done, you know, just encouraged her to be better by trying things that are a little bit out of her comfort zone. She doesn't love to jump when she's setting, but I've tried to really encourage her to go outside of her comfort zone, go outside of her box, and do the things that she's not necessarily accustomed to doing in order to build her skill set.
Kayla Berggraf with Coach Cami Tripp. And Coach, a couple more questions for you. The first one is, you guys are easily the favorite in the district this year. I've talked with other coaches from the district, and everyone really kind of realizes they're playing for second place. How do you keep your girls from focusing on that too much and focusing on the state tournament too early so you don't get upset too early on?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, early in the season, and I think we talked about this the last time, we talked about the fact that we're the team in the 2A conference that has the X on our back, and everybody is hoping for an opportunity to upset us. And so just approaching every practice and every game with that mentality and not overlooking anyone. Volleyball is such a game of momentum, and at any given moment, any team can be superior to the other despite differences in athleticism. And so it's so important that we just stay focused on every opponent and not overlook anyone. And so it's just something that I try and encourage them to be aware of every time we step on the court.
Looking at this game tonight against Soda Springs, the one thing about this game that might cause some problems, Soda has the smallest gym in District 5 when it comes to the height of the gym. Is there any nervousness for you and your girls, and how do you prepare them for coming into a gym like this where they don't have the ceiling level for passes up ahead to the setter, and the setter doesn't have the ceiling level for passes to her hitters?
Yeah, it's just something that we have to be aware of and adjust to as we play. And we've played in gyms that are maybe even worse than this, but it's just a part of the game. We do what we can do, and every ball, every time is my motto. And so you're just down and you're ready, and whether there's a great pass or not a great pass, you still make the adjustment to the ball. And coming to Soda, we know that we have to be prepared to play in this gym with these fans, and so we come ready to do that.
Coach Tripp, thank you so much for the time. Good luck to you tonight.
Thank you so much.
That was Coach Cammie Tripp of the MALAD Lady Dragons. We're about 8 minutes away from the opening tip. The Dragons out on the court warming up right now, and you can watch on mylocalradio.com right now as on the court, that setter that we talked about, Peyton Tripp, the daughter of Coach Cammie Tripp, is on the court. And my goodness, even just watching her going through warm-ups, every single one of her sets, whether it's a back set, front set, middle set, quick set, whatever the case may be, every single one right on the mark and is consistent for every one of her hitters. And as Coach Tripp said, that is so much and so important in making sure that a player and a team comes through in a strong way every single game in and out. So this is going to be a fun match to watch for them, but the Soda Springs Cardinals aren't just going to roll over. We'll have an interview with Coach Shawnee Thompson coming up on the other side of the break on our Coaches Show on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
There has never been a better time to convert to natural gas. Even in the summer months, natural gas is worth asking for. Reach Plumbing and Heating in Soda Springs will replace your furnace that caused you problems this winter with a new natural gas furnace, or even install a natural gas water heater to keep your water hot. Plus, Reed's can add a water softener to your home. And if you want to cool things down, Reed's Plumbing and Heating will install an energy-efficient Lennox air conditioner. All at Reed's Plumbing and Heating, 180 South 3rd Street, Soda Springs.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience, an ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Cattlemen have a code of ethics. Live each day with courage. Take pride in your work. Always finish what you start. Do what has to be done. Be tough but fair. When you make a promise, keep it. Ride for the brand. Talk less and say more. Remember that some things aren't for sale and know where to draw the line. The folks at Mound Valley Cattle Company in Thatcher, Idaho are proud of the students at Grace High School, investing in the leaders of tomorrow. The Mound Valley Cattle Company, 208-339-0614.
This year, firefighters will battle thousands of wildfires around the country in hopes of containing them. But a single ember that escapes can travel more than 1 mile where it can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where the ember will land, only what happens when it does. Prepare, protect, prevail. Get fire adapted. Learn simple steps you could take now to reduce wildfire damage later at fireadapted.org. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council. Learn more at fireadapted.org.
Welcome back out to the home of the Cardinals in Soda Springs, Idaho. Caleb Burgraff here on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com. As right now the Soda Springs Cardinals on the court getting warmed up, getting set to take on the MALAD Dragons. And we had a chance to sit down with the head coach of the Cardinals in Shawnee Thompson to talk about what her team needs to do in tonight's matchup in order to come away with the victory this evening. That's coming up on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Caleb Burgraff on the pregame show with Coach Shawnee Thompson. And Coach, last night against Aberdeen, a 5-setter, a tough match. But as far as the way your girls played in that 5-set match, it really was a continuation of the way they played against Bear Lake, I felt.
It really was. We played a little bit flat last night, and I know that we can play quite a bit better than what we showed throughout, the whole thing. And again, it's our consistency, and we've just got to find that consistency and keep it.
When the girls were down 2-0 in that match against Aberdeen, what was kind of your message to the girls, and how impressed were you with how they bounced back?
I'm for them to bounce back after that 2-loss deficit right there. That's huge, and it shows just the growth that our girls are making over the season and the belief that they're having in themselves and in their teammates, and that's one of the greatest steps that any team can ever have.
One of the things that I've really noticed about this team, and I think I brought it up before, is just the ability for a lot of people to do a lot of different jobs. In fact, yesterday, both Katie Sims and Jessie Belknap scored in all 4 4 different ways with assists, kills, blocks, and aces in that match. Is that something that you enjoy with this team, is just the depth and the versatility you have with some of your players?
You know, it's probably one of the deeper teams that I've really had before. We have a lot of girls that can go in and they have to know a lot of different rotations and places that they're going to play, and we have to just depend on those girls that are going to step up and get the job done every single night. And so it's great to see them go in and get points in every category and put it forth and just get the job done.
Kayla Burgraff, Coach Shawnee Thompson, and Coach, looking at the district, you've now played every single team in the district. If you take MALAD out of the question, who do you feel is like the best team in the district out of those final 4?
I still think it's a crapshoot of all 4 of us. You know, it could be anybody can go into that second place seed that will take them all the way up to state, you know, so I think we have definitely got a shot at that. We have to play ball, of course, but I think we've got a shot at that. But it can be any of those 4 teams it could be, so can't overlook anyone.
Now that you've gotten through those first 4, how important is it to get a couple of extra little miniature victories going through this next half of district play and maybe turn your momentum against some of the teams you've lost into wins?
You know, you can always use those losses that we've had before and learn from them and try and grow from them, and hopefully we can start capitalizing on some of our strengths and some of their weaknesses and use it to our advantage so that we can come out with some wins. So it's very important. We always try and do goals within the game and trying to win the little goals that are within the big set of it. So hopefully if we come through and we do those little goals, we should come out with wins.
Final thing for you, and that's with this game against MALAD tonight. Last time it was really their hitters that had your girls off balance almost the entire game. The play at the net seemed to be the biggest weak point in that game. Is that one of the things that you want to look to your girls to improve in this matchup, is getting in front of the outside hitters of MALAD and maybe getting a few more fingertips on their hits?
Absolutely, and we've definitely made some adjustments so that hopefully we can put up a bigger block on those outside hitters, because that is critical in this game. We have to put up some blocks, and hopefully that will help deter some of those hits. And our girls are great defensively, and putting that block up, boy, that's huge at this level.
Coach Thompson, thank you so much again for the time, and good luck to you guys tonight.
Thanks, Kayla. Appreciate you being here.
That's Coach Shawnee Thompson of the Soda Springs volleyball team, as we are just about set for the opening serve of tonight's matchup. And I do want to take a quick look at the last match for the Soda Springs Cardinals when they went up to Aberdeen last night. And the things that they really need to fix from that matchup last night in Aberdeen, realistically, is the errors that they started to commit back in the final periods and final moments of that matchup, as they had 32 total errors in the match, but only 5 in the first set. They only had 4 errors in the entire third set and only 3 errors in the entire second set. So, I mean, you're talking about a team that when they do not make the mistakes, they can play extremely good volleyball. That is what this team needs to look forward to tonight. That is what they need to find a way to come out and press with in this matchup this evening. We'll take a quick break, come back. The national anthem and starting lineups are on the way here at the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals and on mylocalradio.com with live video streaming on the air at KBRV 800 The Bear.
There's an organization in southeast Idaho whose wildlife conservation efforts have been commended by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Idaho Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and the North American Moose Foundation. Who is this organization? It's Monsanto. While Monsanto is honored by the recognition they receive, their ongoing dedication to the environment is its own reward for all of us. Monsanto. Imagine.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket, and it's always the same place. And then they act so surprised when I find them. But I'm like, hello, that's where you put it last time. Humans are the worst at hide and go seek.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
It's so pretty here.
Katie's away at college.
There's the library.
But she can still be close to her mom back home. Travis is working on a big report. High-speed internet puts a world of information at his fingertips. Silver Star Communications provides connections that help students learn and keep families close, even when they're miles apart. Get your family in touch and informed with high-speed internet from Silver Star Communications. Call today or visit silverstar.com.
And there's your rendition of the national anthem here at the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals in Soda Springs, Idaho, as the two teams here getting set to take each other on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com. And it should, as I said, be an interesting matchup between these two teams as they look to try and the Cardinals looking to try and pull off that upset, and it's all going to come with some of their younger players. The Soda Springs Cardinals, we're talking about this with Coach Thompson, a very young team. They're actually starting 4 underclassmen in tonight's matchup. And with that, we'll take a look into those starting lineups, starting with the Malad Lady Dragons. Starting lineups brought to you by Bear Lake Memorial Hospital in Montpelier. They're the most caring hospital on earth. Number 1 is Taya Thorpe. Number 2 is Hannah Peterson, the junior, who had 14 kills in a 3-set match between the Cardinals and the Dragons last time out on the court. Number 3, Tabor Paskett. Number 10 is Lindsay Sorensen. She will be the libero for the Lady Dragons. Number 12 is Sammy Williams. Number 13 is Riley Tripp. And number 11 is that senior setter in Peyton Tripp, the coach's daughter, as well as one of the more important players on this squad when it comes to her consistent quality setting. For the Soda Springs Cardinals, their starters look like this. Number 2 is Callie Groning. Number 11 is going to be Taylor Myers. Number 13 is Katie Sims. Number 14 is Jessie Belknap. Number 15 is Haley Ledbetter. And number 16 is Lexi Patterson. Sage McKinley is out on the court as libero, wearing the white number 1 jersey. The Cardinals wearing their all blacks with the white sleeve on the right arm, with Cardinals written across the left arm, all right, above the forearm, and white numbers with no words other than, as I said, those Cardinals written across the right forearm. On the other side for the Dragons, they're wearing their black road uniforms with orange striping down the side, white pinstripes on the sleeves, or white stripes across the sleeves, I should say, and black everywhere else. The numbers are orange with Dragons written across the bottom of the uniforms, with black spandex and black knee pads, as well as black shoes all the way across the board. It's time for set number 1 here between these two squads. And again, the Cardinals, if you're out there for the Soda Springs Cardinals, the thing you're looking for is to try and get yourself a little bit more consistent play on the field and on the court, as they're really trying to build up and find a couple of small victories in this matchup. The Cardinals will be starting with the receive, as Lexi Patterson and Jessie Belknap check out of the match. Sage McKinley in as the libero, and Reagan Yamauchi is out there on the court as well, taking her spot for Jessie Belknap. Over for the Dragons to open up with the serve is Peyton Tripp. This first serve brought to you by Arctic Circle, where the good stuff is in Soda Springs. It's a clean one. The Cardinals get a good dig. It's Katie Sims to punch one back row. Kept alive. Bump set over the net. Back to the Cardinals side. Ledbetter up to Groning. She'll set it far side. There's Myers, blocked at the net, and it's a hitting error on Myers, as they're going to say it was a 4-hit violation, so Myers didn't get enough underneath her hit on the outside position, and it goes 1-0. Malad on top early on in set number 1. This serve too far outside the back line. Peyton Tripp couldn't quite keep it in, picks up her first service there, and the Cardinals stay even with Malad in the early going here. That's going to be key for them, is not allowing Malad to go on any major runs in this match. Callie Groning back to serve once again. She'll send one high and to the middle of the court. Bump set up forward. Peterson, I should say, gets it back forward. Cardinals block it at the net, but it goes off of one of the Dragons and dribbles down onto their side. It looked like that one bounced off of Tabor Paskett's head after it was blocked at the net and bounced back onto the Cardinals side. The block on that play is going to go to Katie Sims, but the Cardinals, unfortunately, despite getting up to the net, are going to trail 2-1. Another serve comes over. This time it comes over from Peterson. It's going to be a bump set over the net and to the back row for the Dragons by Myers. It's set by Tripp, middle of the court, and into the net goes the kill of Riley Tripp. And the Cardinals find themselves back even 2-2. Again, trading points, but right now it's off of the mistakes that have been made by the Dragons. Back to serve, Katie Sims, the freshman, moves to the back row. She'll line one to the back row where the libero pumps one forward. That's Sorensen over to Tripp, dumped down, coming from the far side by Thorpe, kept alive by the Cardinals. Groning's going to free one over. Back to Tripp, she sets it near side, coming up as Paskett blocked at the net. Paskett keeps it alive. Far side, Tripp sets it up again. This time it's going to be Thorpe, who's dug out in the back row by the Cardinals. Patterson sends one into the net for Soda Springs. Lexi picks up her first hitting error, but the Cardinals, and this time Jessie Belknap picking up a block at the net, and already that portion of their game looking much better in tonight's contest. Serve comes over and across once again. Myers to Grani. She'll bump it to the far side. Tipping it over the net is going to be Belknap, but it's a set over to the near side. This time pumped up into the air. Dropping it down is going to be Tabor Paskett. She gets her second kill. The assist goes to Thorpe as she stepped in to set that ball, and it's 4-2. Malad up by 2. That will send Riley Tripp back to serve. Lines one over to the far side. Ledbetter's dig goes all the way to the Malad Dragons, and it's Sammy Williams punching it down into the court. You can't allow the Dragons to get balls like that off of your digs. You have to get a clean pass up to your setter and not set it up at the net. 5-2 now, and up to serve again is going to be Riley Tripp. Sends one over and across. Dug out to Groning. She sets up into the middle of the court. Belknap trips one over. Thorpe over to Tripp. She's going to set it to the near side where it's punched down in front of the back row. Tabor Paskett gets her third kill. Peyton Tripp with her first assist, and it's 6-2. The Dragons on a 4-point run right now, 3 of them on the serve of Riley Tripp. Riley will again go back to serve right to left here. Set number 1, short serve, dug out and into the net. Cardinals can't keep it alive, and Riley Tripp gets her first ace of the match now, and all of a sudden it's 7-2. And here's that first big run that the Dragons are going on in tonight's matchup. Another serve by Riley. She'll send one far side. Line drive serve popped up by Patterson. Myers sets it for Groning, who's going to bump this one over and across. Dug up to Tripp. She'll pass this one near side. Coming up again is going to be Tabor Paskett. She gets her 4th kill already, as she's been the favorite for Peyton Tripp and Taya Thorpe to set to. It's 8-2 now. 6 straight points for the Dragons. Ball served up and over by Riley Tripp once again. Groning sets this one to the far side. Lexi Patterson comes up, punches one back row, but too long, just a bit. Patterson couldn't get up on top of that one, and Lexi gets her second hitting error of the match. Cardinals so far do have a pair of blocks, but 3 hitting errors as another serve comes across. Groning right there to bump it up on the short serve. It's going to be Sims sifting this one over to Patterson. Back row pump up by Tripp, and slipped over the antenna, but in play on the near side by Paskett, and Lexi Patterson flips one over with the left hand to the far side of the court where no Dragons were sitting, and the Cardinals get back onto the offensive side. 9-3, they get back into this game, down by 6, and it'll be Taylor Myers back to serve. Very heads-up play on the far side of the court by Lexi Patterson. Ball sent over, dug out in the back row. Tripp sets it up near side, and it's going to be Paskett tipping it over the block. Tabor Paskett heads-up awareness, gets her 5th kill. The 3rd assist now goes to Peyton Tripp, and it's 10-3. The Cardinals down by 7, and back to serve is going to be Taya Thorpe. See if she can keep this run going as she takes a step forward and lines one to the back row. Bumped up into the air by Lewis. Belknap sets this one for Patterson, who frees one across into the back row. Tripp set at the net, coming up and blocked at the net with a clean shot. Patterson comes up with the stuff of Sammy Williams. Lexi Patterson saw Williams getting the set and shot that one back into her face. 10-4. The Cardinals get back within 6. Over to Belknap. She'll serve. Lines one to the back row. Played up into the front. Tripp sets it to the near side. Coming up. Paskett blocked at the net, but off the block and out of play. Tabor Paskett gets her 6th kill now. 4 assists for Peyton Tripp, as she's had a very solid game at setter once again. And 11-4. The Cardinals go back down by 7 in set number 1. Thorpe to serve again, or Paskett, to serve. Sends one over. Groning sets it to the near side. Lewis sits one well high and way too deep over off the far side. Kaylin Lewis with her first hitting error. Cardinals with 4 hitting errors now in the match, and it's 12-4. Again, though, the big thing to watch in this match has been the blocking. Cardinals with 3 blocks in this first set, clean ones at the net. It's another serve over by Paskett. Myers to Groning, who bump sets it back row, where Sims is going to free one across to the far side. Pass up ahead to Tripp. She'll set it to the near side. Coming up and hitting it into the net is Hannah Peterson. Peterson picks up her first hitting error, and the Cardinals, again, trying to take advantage of some of the mistakes that are being played by the Malad Dragons. It'll be Sage McKinley to move back to serve this one once again. The libero will send one over near side, passed up by Peterson. Tripp sets Peterson up near side, tipped over the net, popped up into the air by Lewis, but it was a great way of Peterson finding that opening on the far side. 5 assists now for Peyton Tripp, and it's 13-5. The Malad Dragons starting to pull ahead in this match. To serve, Lindsay Sorensen. She'll line one back row. Passed up ahead by Myers. Clean pass to Groning. She'll set it to the far side. Katie Sims off the block, tipped up at the net. Over to Tripp. She'll set it near side. Peterson comes up, tipped at the net cords. McKinley gets it up ahead to Groning. Good pass over to Sims, who hits it down into the net, and frustrated a little bit when she hits it down like that, as she ends up coming back over with this one, and it's 14-5, a 9-point lead for the Dragons in set number 1. Sorensen to serve again for the Dragons. Line drive over the net. Groning tips this one just over the court. Sorensen passes to the middle of the court. Tripp sets it up, falling away, and Paskett sets one back row. Groning gets it to Sims. She'll punch one too far over. They're going to say that Peterson went into the net, though, and the Cardinals will take advantage of the hitting error by getting another point. It's 14-6, as the net violation, is what's going to give the Cardinals a little bit of a break. So they'll have a substitution come in. Haley Ledbetter checks back into the match for the back row, as Kaylin Lewis will check out. Ledbetter awaits the whistle. She'll be serving left to right from the far side of the court. Lines one over, dug up and pushed forward to the near side. Tripp sets it up for Peterson. Back row. There is going to be Ledbetter. Clean dig. Sims frees one up and into the net. Again, a great dig in the back row by the Cardinals, as it was Ledbetter finding her way into the right position at the right time for Peterson's kill, and she hits the ball hard, so that's not an easy thing to do. 15-6, Cardinals back down by 9. Ball served up and into the net. Peyton Tripp can't get it over, gets her second service error of the match, and it's 7-15. Cardinals right now staying within 8. After that one big run that they gave up to the Dragons, they really haven't given up any major long runs to this point in time. Now as Groning sends this one over. Ball's dug forward. Tripp at the net's going to set this far side. Peterson off the net cords, almost blocked, but Peterson gets it to drop down for his second kill. 6 assists now to Peyton Tripp, and the Cardinals go back down by 9 once again, trading points with the Dragons. Peterson to serve, lines one over, dug up and close to net. It's going to be tipped over by Groning. Right there, Sorensen though. Near side it comes, the tip pass, get back row, right to Ledbetter. Passes up ahead to the net, and down it drops, and it goes as a kill for Tabor Paskett, her 7th now of this first set. That sends it to Hannah Peterson to serve the ball over. Right to left she sends it. McKinley digs the ball forward. Ledbetter, clean pass up ahead. And Sims bumps one high into the air, back row. Peterson pass up ahead to Tripp. She sets it to the middle of the court. Off the block goes the kill attempt of Riley Tripp. Cardinals trying to keep it alive, colliding with each other all over the court, as the confusion really reigned on that point, and it ends up dropping harmlessly to the Cardinals side. 18-7, the Cardinals down by 11 now to the Dragons, and Peterson will serve once again. Sends one to the back row. Passed up by Myers. She's going to have Groning set this one, then the hit by Myers goes into the ceiling, and Myers picks up the hitting error on that one, as she just couldn't quite keep it in play, and a timeout's going to be called by Shawnee Sorensen to talk, to talk things over with her squad. First set here brought to you by London Drug in Grace. They're locally owned, locally operated, and locally loved. They're your local good neighbor pharmacy over in Grace. Be sure to check them out today. So far, the Cardinals in this match, no assists to any of the players on the Cardinals side. They've been kept off balance almost this entire match, and a lot of that goes to the serving game from the Malad Dragons. Also, the errors have stacked up for the Cardinals in this first set with 7 hitting errors to this point in time. No service errors, though, as the Malad Dragons have taken advantage of that, but out of the Cardinals' 7 points, 5 of them have come off of mistakes that have been played by the Dragons at this point in time. 2 of them have come from Lexi Patterson, who has a block that has scored a point to her credit as well as a kill to her credit at the same note. 19-7, Cardinals down by 12 as the timeout huddles break. It'll be Peterson back to serve for the Malad Dragons as the Cardinals will set up Myers, McKinley, and Ledbetter in their back row. Peterson serve, line drive across, dug up by Myers. Groning bump sets at far side, and the run-up is going to be blocked at the net. Punched back down. Kenna Cummins comes up with her first block, a clean one on the far side, and the Cardinals go down by 13 now, 20-7. Peterson goes back to serve once again for the Dragons, takes a step forward and lines one over short. McKinley, clean dig, gets it to Groning, bump set for Sims, comes up, bops one into the block, drop down. This time the block is going to go to Riley Tripp, her first block of the match, the second for the Dragons, and back-to-back points off of blocks. 21-7, the Cardinals down by 14 now in set number 1. Not much for the fans here to cheer about at the home of the Cardinals as the Dragons coming out and playing just like we expected them to. They're one of the best teams in the state. Ball served over. Groning bump sets it back over to the middle of the court. Sims comes up again, hits it near side, trying to hit it around the blocks and ends up hitting it out of play. Sims with her third hitting error of the match now, and it goes to a 22-7 match. That will send Peterson back to serve again. Lines one back row. Ledbetter puts one up into the air. Groning sets this one, and it's going to be sent over on a diving try by Sims. Tripp sets up far row, though, and the tip goes out of bounds. Kenna Cummins comes up from her far side outside hitter spot, ends up knocking one down off the tipped block and off of the outside try by Ledbetter to keep it in the air, and it goes 23-7 now. And Peterson will go back to serve once again. 2 points away from ending the first set. Ledbetter passes to Groning. She'll set it to the middle of the court. Sims comes up, hits one long on the near side. Katie Sims trying to do her best to try and get around the tall blocks coming from the Dragons at the net, but they haven't been able to do much, and it's 24-7 now. Cardinals trail in this first set. Set point as Peterson takes a step forward, lines one over back row. Myers pass up head to Groning. Over to Belknap. She'll hit one off the block, popped up by Peterson in the back row. Tripp sets it near side, coming up, and up, and there goes the block of Caitlin Lewis, or excuse me, up into the air goes the block of number 5. I don't have her on my roster by the Dragons. Cardinals get the ball back. Myers goes to hit this one off the block, bumped up by Tripp. It's going to be set by Cummins to the near side to number 5. Back row, Ledbetter puts one up into the air, drops it down, and the Dragons come away with the points. Number 5, as I said, a lady I do not have on my roster ends up coming up with that final kill. It's 25-7. The Dragons take that final and first set. We'll take a break, come back with more on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Here's a look at your Lalaton's food specials for the week of October 1st through the 7th. Catch K-Slot Fever. Grab select varieties of canned vegetables, 24 in a case for $12. Canned tuna fish, 48 cans for $28.32, or a case of 12 cans of premium chunk white chicken for just $11.89. Pasta sauces come in cases of 12 for $12, 20 for $20, or 24 for $24. That's a look at your Lalaton's food specials in Soda Springs.
This is the sound of salmonella gyrating on your undercooked chicken. And it looks like Mom might be taking it out a little early. Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. So use a thermometer to cook each type of meat to the right temperature. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
It's so pretty here.
Katie's away at college,
There's the library.
but she can still be close to her mom back home. Travis is working on a big report. High-speed internet puts a world of information at his fingertips. Silver Star Communications provides connections that help students learn and keep families close, even when they're miles apart. Get your family in touch and informed with high-speed internet from Silver Star Communications. Call today or visit silverstar.com.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals in Soda Springs, Idaho. Caleb Burgraff here on KBRV 800 The Bear With the score after a 25-7 set win for the Malad Dragons, the Cardinals will take over with the serve to start set number 2. Callie Groning to send it over, brought to you by Arctic Circle in Soda Springs, where the good stuff is. It's popped up over to Peterson, off the block at the net, clean dig. Groning has a chance to set this one. Near side coming up is Taylor Myers. She's blocked at the net. Over to the near side, Groning sets it up into the middle. Sims tips one over and down. The block at the net is going to go to Riley Tripp for her second for the Dragons, but Katie Sims with a heads-up play just to tip it over the net gets Callie Groning her first assist, and the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead in set number 2. Groning to serve, sends one over, dug out back row, played over to Tripp. She sets up Peterson, far side. Passed across over to McKinley. Groning sets this one to Belknap. Down goes Belknap's kill attempt, and it's through. Sorensen couldn't get a clean dig. Jessie Belknap on her first attempt of the night ends up getting a kill. Groning with her second assist, and back-to-back points for the Cardinals as they take a 2-0 lead. This is a building point here if the Cardinals can keep this run going a little bit longer. Ball served over. Peterson to Tripp. She sets this one into the middle, tipped over the net cords, and down inside the lines on the far side. Riley Tripp comes up to get her first kill of the match. Another clean assist goes to Peyton Tripp, and the Cardinals end up seeing their lead shrink to 1. It'll be Peyton Tripp to serve, lines one over, dug forward and back over to the Dragon side. Popped in the air, Thorpe sets it up far side. Peterson drops one down. Had plenty of time, hung in the air, and Peterson leveled it down on the assist from Taya Thorpe. Nothing anybody on the Cardinals side could do for that hit as it goes back now to Peyton Tripp to serve. She'll line this one up and over the court, sent over to Groning, who's going to bump set this one into the middle. Katie Sims sends it too far off the back line, and Sims comes up with her 5th hitting error of the match, and it's a 3-2 lead now for the Dragons on 3 straight points. It'll send Tripp back to serve once again, lines one over. Dug forward, Groning's going to scramble to keep this one alive, and McKinley frees one over to the Dragons. Bumped up to Tripp, who sets it up into the middle for Riley Tripp. It's blocked at the net by Belknap, then freed over by the to the Cardinal side. McKinley over to Belknap, far side, sends one to the back row, played forward. Thorpe sets this one for Peterson, far side, down it goes. Another block for Jessie Belknap in the set, but Hannah Peterson says, I don't care about your blocks. You give me more than one chance. I'm going to take advantage of it. She has 4 kills in the match now, and it's a 4-2 lead for the Dragons on top of the Cardinals. It'll send Tripp back to serve for the 4th straight time as Peyton walks up and lines one over. Dug forward by Myers. Groning sets this one middle of the court. Sims tips it over the block. Sorensen misplays the dig, and it's going to be Katie Sims with her 2nd kill, and a 3rd assist goes to Callie Groning. Right now the Cardinals again playing much better in this set than they did in that first set, a much more competitive team on the court. Back is Katie Sims to do the serving for the Cardinals, down by 1, 4-3. Lines one to the back row. Sorensen, clean pass up ahead. It's going to be Tripp setting it up in the middle for Riley Tripp, who drops it down. Riley pounds that one through as Peyton Tripp gets her 10th assist, and it's 5-3 now. Cardinals see the lead back to 2 for the Dragons. It'll be Hannah Peterson moving to the back row to serve. Good news for the Cardinals, but this front row for the Dragons, good at blocking all the way around. As a serve from Hannah goes across. Dug out, pass to Groning, who sends one across to Belknap, and a lift is going to be called. No, into the net is going to be called on Riley Tripp, and it's a 5-4 game now. The Cardinals trying to take advantage of the mistake on into the net by the Dragons. That'll send Myers back to serve once again for Soda Springs. Taylor on the night so far has had a couple of serves, 2 hitting errors as well as she sends one across to Sorensen. Set on the far side by Paskett. It's going to be sent across, down and in, as getting that one to drop through is going to be Riley Tripp from the back row. She gets her 3rd kill, and Tabor Paskett gets her 1st assist. 6-4, the lead back to 2 for the Dragons. It'll be Riley Tripp to serve. Sends one across, dug over by Belknap into the middle of the court where Groning frees one to the back row. Pass up ahead by Peterson to Tripp. Far side it goes, and Paskett tips one over and finds some open room. Tabor Paskett gets her 8th kill, 1st of this set, and 11 assists now go to Peyton Tripp. 7-4, the Cardinals see the lead grow to 3 for the Dragons, and back to serve this one across will be Riley again. It's sent across, popped up into the air. Belknap one hands this one to the near side, and it's going to be Caitlin Lewis on a back pedal sending one into the net, and it goes to 8-4 now as the Dragons starting to pull away a little bit here in set number 2, doubling up the Soda Springs Cardinals. Riley Tripp sends one across, hesitated, and sent one into the middle of the court where nobody was, and Riley gets her 2nd ace of the match. 9-4 right now as the Cardinals try to end this run that's come on by the Dragons. 4 straight points. Riley Tripp to serve again. Sends one back row. Popped up into the air by Groning. Saved by Katie Sims, and then sent near side. Cummins passes up ahead. It's going to be Tripp. Far side basket off the net and down inside the lines. Tabor Paskett gets her 9th kill, and Peyton Tripp gets her 4th assist of this set. 10-4 now. The Dragons up by 6 on Soda Springs. It'll send Riley Tripp back to serve once again. She'll line one to the back row. Pass up ahead by Sims. Gets it to Belknap near side, and Lewis frees one back row. Punched up by Tripp. Over to Riley Tripp. Cummins sends one over and across. Myers gives this one over to Groning. Far side Belknap comes up. Pounds one back row, but too far. Jesse Belknap had the right idea. The Dragons let that one drop and couldn't keep it in. And after 6 straight points for the Dragons, Coach Shawnee Thompson wants to talk things over with her squad over on the court as she keeps them over on the far side. And again, the Cardinals came out much stronger in this one, but they've seen the Dragons compose themselves back on their side, and it's turned into a little bit more of a rout for the Dragons than I think the Cardinals were hoping this one would be, as they're looking to try and keep pace with this Malad team and build some confidence going into next week when their schedule gets busy once again. Next week, the Cardinals will be ending up playing a match against Grace on the 6th, and then they end up taking on Westside on the road in a very pivotal match for momentum going into the district tournament against the Westside Pirates at Westside after Westside swept them here at home. So a lot of pivotal matches, and getting this Malad game out of the way is going to be big for Soda Springs, but on the same side, you'd like to have momentum after this match. Ball served over and across out of the timeout by Riley Tripp. Belknap sets up Patterson at the net, dumped down and blocked. Emma Peterson, the youngster, ends up dropping that one down, and the Cardinals go down by 8, 12-4 on the first block by Peterson, the 4th block of the game for the Dragons. Tripp to serve it over once again. Riley sends it short, dug up into the air, bump set by Sims, and it's going to be Lewis to send one down and in. Great job by Lewis, putting some good topspin on it. She drops it down on the assist by Katie Sims, and the Cardinals get back within 7 and get the serve back on their side. Jesse Belknap will serve, waits for the whistle, now steps twice and sends one across back row. Sorensen up into the air, off the ceiling. Cummins sets it far side and is sent over and across by Emma Peterson. At the net, it's going to be blocked once again as a lift is called on Groning, and who else is it but Emma Peterson at the net to get her 2nd block of this set. 13-5, the Cardinals back down by 8. That'll send Taya Thorpe into serve as Cummins takes a seat on the bench. Thorpe lines one to the back row, bumped up by Sims, and Sims is going to free this one over and across. Played up by Thorpe. It's Tripp setting it far side. Paskett drops it down. Tabor Paskett gets her 10th kill. Peyton Tripp gets her 5th assist of the set, 13th overall, and it's 14-5. The Cardinals again watching as the Dragons start to pull ahead. Thorpe to serve again. She'll send one over and across. Dug up over to the far side. Groning sets this one to the middle. Lexi Patterson sends it back row just a hair outside the line. Patterson again, the right idea, and their ideas are there for Soda Springs, but they haven't been able to find the consistency that you like to see. It'll be Taya Thorpe once again to serve, and she'll line one to the near side. Bumped up by Sims. Groning sets this one to the back row where Sims frees one across. Near side Thorpe sets it to Peyton Tripp. Over to the far side. Paskett tipped at the net. Kept alive by Sims in the back row. And then Lexi Patterson got in the way of Groning as she tried to get over to the ball to tip it up. And it goes as a kill for Tabor Paskett on the far side despite being tipped at the net. Her 4th kill of the set, 11th overall in the match as Thorpe serves one well long off the back row. Taya gets her first service error, and the Cardinals will get the ball back down by 10, 16-6. Sage McKinley checks into the match to do the serving for Soda Springs as Lexi Patterson checks to the bench. So McKinley, right to left, will send one high into the air and back row. Peterson over to Tripp. Gets it to Paskett, who sends one off the hands of Myers in the back row and out of play. Another kill for Paskett, who gets her 12th now of the match, and another assist for Peyton Tripp, who's had a very solid match once again as well, but you didn't expect anything different as 15 assists have gone to Tripp with the score 17-6 in set number 2. That'll send Paskett back to serve as she's off the front row. Over to Groning. She'll set this one for Sims, who puts it over to the far side, kept alive by Sorensen. Tripp sets it to the far side. Peterson blocked at the net. That's Groning on the block far side. Peterson gets another chance and takes advantage. Hannah Peterson with her 5th kill, but the Cardinals again are showing improvement as Callie Groning gets her first block of the match, 18-6. The Cardinals down by 12, but again, they're starting to show signs of improvement that they didn't have against the Dragons the first time. Paskett runs up to serve, passed up ahead. Groning slips one over the net. Sorensen's right there, though. Tripp sets it to the middle of the court. Right off of the hands goes Emma Peterson. Cardinals have it go into the net on the tip, and it ends up dropping on their side as Emma Peterson gets her first kill. Another assist goes to Peyton Tripp, and it's 19-6. That'll send Paskett back to serve once again. Right up the middle of the court, she runs up and sends one across. Pass up ahead. Groning bump sets it middle of the court. Katie Sims sends it back over. Sorensen passes up ahead. Tripp, far side. She goes Peterson. Down goes Peterson. Right off Katie Franson into her face. And Franson comes up a little bit woozy on that one as she wobbles towards the bench a little bit as she took a volleyball from Peterson, who, we said it before, hits the ball extremely hard right to her dome. And she's blinking her eyes, and they're going to sub out Katie Franson, who again is still looking a little bit disoriented. And coming into the game for the Soda Springs Cardinals is going to be the JVer, who was called up to the varsity today in Alexa Bartholomew. So Alexa gets her first playing time onto the court as a junior in this match. And Franson's going to again sit down on the bench with the score at 20-6. A hard kill there by Hannah Peterson gets her 6th, and it'll be a serve coming up now as Paskett sends one across, and it's going to be an ace for Tabor. Paskett takes advantage of the lull, drops one down, 21-6 now. The 3rd ace of the match for the Dragons to go with their 3 service errors. That'll run up Paskett to serve once again. Line drive over the court right after getting the ace. She gets the service error, and the Cardinals will try and get a little bit of a run going themselves. It'll be Ledbetter checking into the match for Kaylin Lewis, and Ledbetter will go back to serve in this one. 21-7, Cardinals down by 14, but trying to climb back into this. Up comes a serve. Ledbetter, back row, passed up ahead by Thorpe. Tripp's going to set it to the far side. Coming up and hitting this one down and kept alive by the Cardinals as a mystery player on the far side. Once again, number 20 from the Dragons. Tripp sets it up into the middle where Hannah Peterson sends it well long, and the Cardinals will get the point. Emma Peterson came up and tried to put a rocket down like her sister does and ends up sending it too far. The Cardinals get the point, 21-7. Or not. And it's going to be over to it will be a kill, I suppose, to Emma Peterson. They're going to say tipped at the net, I guess, and it goes 22-7 now. So Sorensen to serve. And the serve comes across. Dug up by Sims. Groning sets this one to the near side. Coming up and hitting it long is going to be the hit of Taylor Meyer, and she wanted that one for a tip but did not get it, so Meyer picks up her 3rd hitting error of the match, and it's 23-7 now with Sorensen back to serve. Toss the ball up high, runs up, sends one across. McKinley popped up into the air. Meyer keeps it alive, and it's going to end up dropping down as a dive by Katie Sims to keep it up is not going to do anything, and Sorensen gets her first ace of the match. 4 aces now for the Dragons, and another set point at 24-7. Sorensen runs up, lines one over the net, popped up into the net, kept alive by Groning, and then dropping down on the near side. Groning pumped it outside the lines, and another ace for Lindsay Sorensen. We'll take a quick break, come back with more on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming. The 3rd set coming up on mylocalradio.com.
There's an organization in southeast Idaho whose wildlife conservation efforts have been commended by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the Idaho Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and the North American Moose Foundation. Who is this organization? It's Monsanto. While Monsanto is honored by the recognition they receive, their ongoing dedication to the environment is its own reward for all of us. Monsanto. Imagine.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
There has never been a better time to convert to natural gas. Even in the summer months, natural gas is worth asking for. Reach Plumbing and Heating in Soda Springs will replace your furnace that caused you problems this winter with a new natural gas furnace, or even install a natural gas water heater to keep your water hot. Plus, Reed's can add a water softener to your home. And if you want to cool things down, Reed's Plumbing and Heating will install an energy-efficient Lennox air conditioner. All at Reed's Plumbing and Heating, 180 South 3rd Street, Soda Springs.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals as the MALAD Dragons have taken the first two sets 25-7 in both of them over the Cardinals, and the Dragons will be opening up with the serve in set number 3 as the Cardinals look to try and find a way to bounce back in this one after the Dragons have come out strong in the first two, and it's not going to start on that one as with the ace is going to be Peyton Tripp, her first ace of the match now, and the sixth for the Dragons in the match as a team. So Tripp will serve it over again. Peyton serve dug out by Ledbetter. Groning tips this one over the net. Peterson right there to keep it alive though. Tripp sets it far side. Coming up, Thorpe into the block and out of bounds. And it goes as a kill for Taya Thorpe for her first, and another assist by Tripp in the match for her 20th now in this set. 2-0. The Dragons leading set number 3 as they broke the huddle and yelled out finished, as that's built really their mantra in this season, is not letting the teams come back into this. As Reagan Yamauchi into the game for the Cardinals. Groning gets the pass from her, tipped at the net, blocked at the net, and dropped down. Riley Tripp with maybe the softest block you'll see all year, and it goes as a 3-0 lead now for the Dragons, starting out strong against Soda Springs. MALAD coming on quick here as Tripp will again serve. Peyton serve, line drive, back row. Ledbetter to Groning. She'll set this one to the middle of the court, and Sims will free one over and across. Played over to Tripp, back sets this one, and Thorpe comes up, drops one down. Taya Thorpe, a smart kill on that one, gets her second, and another assist goes to Peyton Tripp for 21. 4-0. The Cardinals trail to the Dragons now here at home. Set number 3 down, 2 sets to none, ball served across. Reagan Yamauchi sets one into the net. Peterson ends up trying to punch one down, and Hannah picks up her second hitting error of the match and had a frumpy look on her face after hitting that one into the net, and the Cardinals get the point, and a very sheepish look by Peterson, who goes up and tries to hit every ball as hard as possible and does a good job at it. It'll be Groning back to serve, left to right, she'll send one across. Sorensen passes one up ahead to Tripp, back sets this one to Peterson, comes up. That time she drops it down, but Groning there to pass it up to Belknap, sets one up for Sims, blocked at the net. Before Myers sends one into the net for the Cardinals, and they drop another point. So Peterson to serve, climbs the net cords with her serve. Hannah Peterson gets her first ace to join that party, and it's 6-1 now. The Dragons starting to pull up a little bit on Soda Springs. Back to serve Peterson again, sends one up to the back row. McKinley over to Myers, who sends one across back to the Dragons. Over to Tripp, she'll set it to the near side. Coming up is Paskett off the block. Ledbetter right there to keep it alive. Groning sets it to the middle. Sims tromps one down, bumped up into the air by Tripp. Thorpe sets it near side. Coming up, Paskett tips it over. Groning gets it to Belknap. Once again over to the far side. Myers sends one off the block, punched up into the air by Tripp. Thorpe again sends one near side. Paskett tips it over. There's Groning once again though for the Cardinals. Belknap tips it up, blocked at the net goes the tip attempt of Myers. As with the block is Taya Thorpe, the fourth different player on the Dragons to get a block now, and it's 7-1. The Dragons up by 6 after the first 8 points of this match. Peterson to serve again. Ledbetter gets it to Groning, clean pass over to Myers, who's going to free one across. Peterson pass up ahead once again, and this time dropping it down. Riley Tripp takes advantage of the set that comes from Peyton Tripp and finds the kill. It's 8-1 now. The Cardinals down by 7 to this MALAD Dragon squad. And it'll send Hannah Peterson again to serve. She'll line one over the net. Dumped up into the air by McKinley. Groning sets it to the far side. Belknap will send one near side. Sorensen there for the clean dig, though. Pumped up into the air, but underneath the net in the violation is going to go Tripp. Just trying to save the ball. Really didn't have another option, and it goes to 8-2. The Cardinals back within 6 as Lexi Patterson will check back into the match, and McKinley will take a seat on the bench. Over to serve this one is going to be Katie Sims, who sends one across. Sorensen passes up to Tripp near side, running up and sending it too far on the near side. Tabor Paskett gets her first hitting error to go with her 12 kills, and it's 8-3. The Cardinals getting a little bit of life right now. That'll bring up Sims to serve once again. As she walks up, lines one over the court, popped up to Peterson. Tripp sets this one into the middle of the court, and a late dump by Riley Tripp as Riley gets her 5th kill of the match. 23 assists now for Peyton Tripp as she hooks up with the younger. And it's 9-3 now. Cardinals down by 6 once again as Riley Tripp goes back to serve, sends it across, popped up into the air by Sims, and it's going to be sent down into the ground as Groning and Myers collide with each other. Groning picks up her first hitting error of the match, and it's 10-3. The Cardinals trailing by 7 as Tripp to serve again, sends one short into the net, and Riley Tripp picks up her first service error of the match. So the Malad Dragons leading now by 7 once again, or 10-4 after the error. They're going to call a net violation, I suppose, on that, and it's Myers to serve. Ball sent across, Sorensen to Tripp, over to the net, dumped down, this time by Sammy Williams. Cardinals keep it alive, though, and it's free to cross by Lewis. Played over to the far side. Tripp again sets one up near side, dropping one down, and trying to get the kill is going to be Paskett, but the Cardinals keep it alive, but it clears off of the roof on the hitting attempt to get it over by Sims, and it's an error on her, although, again, not really much else she could do, and it's 11-4 now. The Dragons are pulling ahead. A 7-point advantage for the Dragons as Belknap sets this one over to the far side. Lewis punches one across. Sorensen gets it up ahead, and Tripp sends it back row just inside the corner. A dump across by Peyton Tripp, and Tripp gets her first kill of the match to go with her 23 assists. 12-4, it's up to an 8-point lead for the Dragons, who are trying to close out this third set and this match in dominant fashion. And they're succeeding at it at that. Ball served up and over once again. This time it's Taya Thorpe to do it. It's Myers passing it up ahead. Lexi Patterson sends one well long off the back row, and Patterson gets her 4th hitting error of the match. And again, that's where the Cardinals' struggles have been so far in this match, is they only have 5 kills to their credit. Ball served over again. Groning up into the air, crawls up by the up to basketball court, and it's over to Groning to free one across. Over to Tripp, pops one up, and it's going to be punched by Sammy Williamson too far. Sammy Williams ends up getting her first error of the match, and it goes to 13-5 now. The Soda Springs Cardinals back within 8 and with the serve as Jessie Belknap, the sophomore, moves back row. She'll line one over back row where Sorensen punches one in the air. It's near side Tripp, getting it up, and down goes the kill by Tabor Paskett, getting her 13th kill and a 5th assist in this set for Tripp on her side as the setter. And again, the senior setter for the Dragons may be one of the best you'll see in the state at adjusting and continually being in the right spot at the right time. 14-5, a 9-point lead for the Dragons in this match. As running up and sending this one across is Paskett, popped up by Myers. Groning sets this one to the far side coming up. Katie Sims spins one down off the tip block. It's Sorensen over to Tripp. Near side coming up as Patterson drops it down. Bumped up by Reagan, but over to the Dragon side, and Patterson gets another chance. Hannah Peterson, gets her 7th kill, and it's 15-5, a 10-point lead for the Dragons in set number 3. Running up to serve again is going to be Paskett. She'll send one near side, and it goes as an ace as Lewis couldn't get it in the air, and Tabor gets her 2nd ace of the match. 16-5, an 11-point advantage right now, and the Cardinals are looking to try and compose themselves to find some bit of momentum to go into next week. As again, Tabor Paskett runs up. She'll line one into the net. Tabor Paskett with her 2nd service error of the match, and the Cardinals find their 6th point. It's 16-6. That'll send McKinley into the match to serve as Lexi Patterson takes a seat on the bench. Sage Libero for the Soda Springs Cardinals will serve one over and deep, popped up by Paskett, set by Tripp to the middle of the court, and Sammy Williams whiffs on her hitting attempt, and it goes as her 2nd hitting error. 16-7, the Cardinals match their point total from the first 2 sets. That'll send McKinley to serve once again. Left to right, lines one up and over the court. Popped up into the air. It's Tripp setting it to the near side. Coming up, Peterson sends it too long. And Hannah Peterson gets her first hitting error of that, or excuse me, second hitting error of the set and third of the match. 16-8, the Cardinals still being doubled up, but they do have 8 points now, which is an improvement from their first 2 sets. McKinley to serve, sends one short. Pass up by Peterson. Tripp sets up to the near side. Peterson comes up off the block at the net and gets it to drop down. Hannah Peterson gets number 8 on her kill attempts, and it's now a 17-8 match. Substitutions coming in for the Dragons. Now I want to remind you, this third set brought to you by A&C Embroidery, in the business of making your business or team look good. Call them today at 208-604-1775. Another serve comes across from right to left, popped up by Groning for a set to Sims, who finds a way through the block and drops it down. Katie Sims with her third kill. Groning gets her 4th assist, and it's 17-9. The Cardinals looking for double digits as Haley Ledbetter will check in for Kaylin Lewis. Ledbetter moves over to the left side of the court. Cards down by 8 as Ledbetter will rock into her serve and sends a line drive back row. Passed up ahead. It's going to be Tripp setting it to the back row. Coming up, Paskett drops it down to Ledbetter, who gets a clean pass up ahead to Myers, and Groning frees one over and across. Pass up ahead to Tripp. She'll dump one down, but right there is Yamauchi. Over to Groning, who's blocked at the net. Sims, I should say, blocked at the net, but it somehow scrambles back to the Dragon side. Near side, Peterson goes into the block. That time it's Sims sending it back. Her second block of the match. 17-10, the Cardinals within 7 on a bit of a run themselves. 3 straight serves for Ledbetter as she now rocks into her serve and lines one just over. Pass up ahead, goes to Tripp. She'll set this one near side, middle of the court. Dropped down and kept alive, though, by Peterson. Over far side, it's Myers punching one across where Sorensen gets it to Tripp. Near side comes Hannah Peterson. She finds the inside of the line as Hannah finds kill number 9, and another assist goes to Tripp for her 7th of the set. 18-10, the Dragons back up by 8 as Cummins will check in and Taya Thorpe will check out going to the bench. That'll send it back to Tripp to serve. Cardinals will move far side. Myers blocked at the net. Cummins with that block. Kenna Cummins gets her second block of the match, and it goes to 19-10. Dragons up now by 9, and the serve short. Dug out back to the Dragon side. Tripp sets this far side. Cummins comes up, pops one down. Reagan Yamauchi goes to Groning. Far side, Sims goes through the block and down. Katie Sims with her 4th kill of the match, and it's now 5 assists for Callie Groning. That'll send Groning back to serve for Soda Springs. 19-11, Cardinals down by 8. As Groning sends it left to right, back row. Tripp bump sets it to the middle of the court, and Cummins is going to send this one across. McKinley gets it to Groning. She'll set this one middle of the court, and Sims frees one to the back row. Sorensen up ahead to Tripp. She'll pass it near side. Peterson drops it down. 10 kills now for Hannah Peterson. It was 20-11. The Dragons pulling ahead and 5 points away from wrapping up this match. Ball comes across once again. Peterson gets it to Groning. She'll set it to the middle where Katie Sims drops it across but kept alive by Tripp. Cummins sets it near side. Sent back row by Paskett. We're led better right there. Over far side. Myers hits one into the block. Down it goes. Emma Peterson gets her 3rd block of the match now, and the Cardinals see the lead build back to 10 for the Dragons. 4 points away from wrapping it up in 3 sets are the Dragons as the Cardinals look to try and continue to climb back in. Ball served over, dug across, dropped back down by Paskett. Ledbetter passes over to the far side, and Myers is going to free this one across. Pass up ahead from Peterson, gets it to Tripp, into the middle. Emma Peterson sends one down, back row. It's Ledbetter, and it goes off her hands and out of play. So Emma Peterson gets her 2nd kill of the match. Another assist goes to Peyton Tripp, and it's 22-11 now as Hannah Peterson remains in the back row to serve. She'll line one over, dug up back row by Myers. McKinley sets this one into the back row, and Myers is going to free this one across. Popped up on a split job by Myers, and Cummins frees one back over to the Cardinals, where Groning gets it to Belknap. Set up to the net. Sims tips it over, popped up by Cummins. Near side it comes to Paskett, who's going to send one back row inside the line. Tabor Paskett using the soft touch to get the kill there. 29 set assists now for Peyton Tripp in 3 sets, and it's 23-11. The Cardinals trail by 12. Running up now this time is Peterson to serve again. Back Sorrow and too far. Hannah Peterson finds her 1st service error of the match, and the Cardinals see their hopes stay alive, glimmering at a 23-12 match point. Excuse me, not match point, but a serve coming across from Katie Sims. She'll send one into the back row. Sorensen pops it up, sent near side, and Paskett's going to be into the block. Belknap comes up with her third block of the match at the net. 23-13, the Cardinals back within 10. That'll send Katie Sims back to serve once again. As Sims, serving from the left side of the court, will send one over to the Dragons, as Tripp is going to set it back up middle of the court, dropping one down. Paskett led better with a clean pass over to Belknap, tipped over the net by Patterson. Right there, though, is going to be the Dragons, and Paskett gets a chance, tipped and blocked at the net, back to the Cardinals side, and they're going to say into the net, though, went Lexi Patterson, and it's 24-13 on the net violation by Soda Springs. That will set up the set and match point coming up right now, as it goes back to Peterson to serve. Sends across, popped up to Groning. She'll set it far side. Lexi Patterson blocked at the net. Groning right there, though, keeps it alive. Patterson sends one through the block a second time. Lexi try again, and she gets her second kill of the match. Goes to a 6-point lead. Or excuse me, 6 assists, I should say. And 24-14, the Cardinals trying to keep it within 10 points and go on a little run here at the back half. As Myers to serve this one across, sends one over. Paskett gets it over to Tripp. Near side, Paskett gets it back, and long goes the shot as Tabor Paskett gets only her second hitting error of the match, and it's 24-15 now. Soda Springs holding tight and running up to serve now is Myers again. Lines one back row, passed up ahead by Peterson. Tripp sets it to the middle of the court. Dropping one down is going to be the Dragons. And the ball free to cross, though. The Cardinals scramble with Kaylee Veely, and it drops down. Kaylee Veely comes up with her first kill on a scramble, and the Cardinals get back within 8, 24-16. That'll send Taylor Myers back to serve once again, and she'll line one to the back row. Peterson, again a pass up to Tripp. She'll set this one to the near side. Paskett blocked at the net. Kept alive, though, by the Dragons. Sorensen up ahead, and a free ball comes from Cummins. Kaylee Veely over to Groning. Near side it comes. Belknap too far the hit on the near side, and that wraps it up. But the Cardinals again showing they can play with this team. 25-16. They lose the set, but gain a little bit of momentum in their minds, you would hope, as they will move on to next week trying to take on both Grace and Bear Lake. We'll take a break, come back with more on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
They need your help. They're overstocked with Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They'll wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliance. If you will help them make room in their showroom, they'll help you keep money in your bank account while you're enjoying high-quality, comfortable Lazy Boy and Catnapper recliners, sofas, and love seats. They need your help, and you need to save money. Wheel and deal right now at Sanders Furniture, Flooring, and Appliances on Main Street in Soda Springs.
MyLocalRadio.com is Southwest Wyoming and Northeast Utah's top website and the best source for local area news, weather, sports, and community events. And that's not all. MyLocalRadio.com features thousands of photographs of Wyoming and Utah high school events, from speech and drama competitions to local events, sports and activities, and much more. Check it out today and see what MyLocalRadio.com has for you.
Cattlemen have a code of ethics. Live each day with courage. Take pride in your work. Always finish what you start. Do what has to be done. Be tough but fair. When you make a promise, keep it. Ride for the brand. Talk less and say more. Remember that some things aren't for sale, and know where to draw the line. The folks at Mound Valley Cattle Company in Thatcher, Idaho are proud of the students at Grace High School, investing in the leaders of tomorrow. The Mound Valley Cattle Company, 208-339-0614.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a left.
You are not going to
Then what you're
believe
going to do
this.
is turn onto Marcy Avenue.
just broke up
and go past
and
the first
apparently
3
she's
lights
happy
and then
about
take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
then
think
drive 5
she's
more
happy,
blocks
but
and you should be
who
there.
am I to judge, right?
Park on the
Anyway,
right.
That's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back out to the home of the Soda Springs Cardinals. Caleb Burgraff here on KBRV 800 The Bears. It's time for us to wrap up our game here with our post-game show. The Cardinals dropping 3 sets to the Malad Lady Dragons, 25-7, 25-7, and 25-16. But again, the Cardinals did show plenty of signs of improvement in that match, including the fact they had 7 blocks on a Dragons team that hits the ball harder than almost any team they're going to see all season long in this match. They also were able to come up with a couple of kills late in that match and able to run that last set to 25-16. They didn't lose by double digits, and I think that's another big point of emphasis where the Cardinals can take that into the next match. But for the Dragons, if you're a Dragons fan listening in right now, you have a great team. 14 kills from Tabor Paskett, 10 from Hannah Peterson. They led the way with 29 assists from Peyton Tripp, most of those to those two. Riley Tripp had 5 kills, Sammy Williams with 1, 2 kills for Emma Peterson. And Kenna Cummins and Peyton Tripp both had 1 apiece, with Taya Thorpe adding another 2. 36 total kills in a 3-setter with only 8 errors on the match. 32 assists total, 9 aces and 7 service errors with 9 blocks at the net as well, including Emma Peterson and Riley Tripp both coming up with 3 blocks in the match. On the Cardinals side, they did have 3 blocks from Jessie Belknap, who's proved that she can do that in this game. 2 blocks from Katie Sims, and then 1 apiece coming from Lexi Patterson and Callie Groning. 6 assists for Patterson, 1 for Katie Sims, and no aces in the match for the Soda Springs Cardinals. As far as what's coming up next, we're going to be on air tomorrow night with a 6:30 6:30 pregame show and a 7 o'clock opening kick, as it'll again be the Malad Dragons taking on the Soda Springs Cardinals on the football field here in Soda Springs, as the Cardinals look to try and get that first win of the year on the football field. We'll be on air, as I said, at 6:30 Mountain Time. Thank you for listening in to the Cardinals post-game show. The proceeding has been a sports production and sports broadcast of Old West Media Incorporated and Cook Brothers Broadcasting. No portion of this production can be used or rebroadcast without express written consent of Old West Media Incorporated. Tonight's executive producer is Val Cook. I would also like to thank our sales team, as well as our office manager, Kim Miller, and general manager, Warren Cook. Thanks to all of our sponsors and to you for tuning in. Once again, the final score, 3-0. The Malad Lady Dragons come away with the victory over the Soda Springs Cardinals. For tonight's videographer, Zippy Thompson, I'm Caleb Burgraff, saying tune in next time on KBRV 800 The Bear with live video streaming online at mylocalradio.com.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's matches. Be sure to visit mylocalradio.com for a full schedule of games you can watch and listen to this year. And keep your radio tuned to KBRV 800 The Bear so you can keep up with every play from Soda Springs, Grace, and North Gym Athletics.